I'm so glad that Benioff and Weiss aren't involved in this show. Thank God. House of the Dragon is a series created by George R. R. Martin and Ryan Condal. It is the prequel of the beloved series Game of Thrones and takes place 200 years before. The series shows how the Targaryens faltered as they try to win the Game of Thrones while powerful families oppose of their reign. The show stars a very large ensemble that includes Emma Darcy, Patty Considine, Matt Smith, Olivia Cooke, and Rhys Ifans. The first season of House of the Dragon was a very pleasant surprise for me. A lot of people didn't like Game of Thrones Season 8, myself included. So to have House of the Dragon be as good as it was really fantastic. I think that this show is amazing. It's so entertaining. It's got wonderful performances, and the writing is absolutely top notch. The characters here are so well realized. I think that Emma Darcy is exceptional as Rhaenyra. She is the heir apparent to the throne because her father Viserys names her Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, even though a lot of people opposed to her rank because she's a woman, she's not a male. And I think that it's a great change up to the overall series, because Game of Thrones we had mostly males fighting over the Iron Throne, but here we have a woman in the position of power. I really love Emma Darcy's performance. I think that she's great here. She carries the series really well. Millie Alcock also did a great job as young Rhaenyra, and we get so used to the young version of her. So it's even hard when we see Emma Darcy play her, because we're so used after like 5 episodes of watching Millie Alcock in the character that we sort of get a hard time adjust to the fact that she's old now. She's no longer young, and she's played by another actress. That's how good the child performer was as young Rhaenyra. I really like her character. I think that she's a badass female character. She is fearless. She's not afraid of anyone, and she knows what she wants. She also reminds me a little bit of Daenerys, I think, in a way. Not only with her looks, but with her personality. Her Daenerys, that's sort of the same personality trait. And I thought that Rhaenyra was just a fantastic character and a really intriguing one. And I love her chemistry with Daemon, played by Matt Smith. Matt Smith is just incredible here. I think he might be one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite. He's really absolutely amazing. Emily Carey plays young Alicent, while Olivia Cooke plays the older version of Alicent. I like both of them. I think I identified more with Olivia Cooke because I think that they gave more dimension to Alicent when she is actually older than young. She's actually older, and I think it just worked for me. I think Olivia Cooke is a really good actress, and I thought that she really is great here as the old version of Alicent. I think she really works well with the other members of the cast, like Emma Darcy and Matt Smith. Patty Considine is just absolutely amazing as King Viserys. It's probably one of my favorite performances in the entire show, because I love just seeing this great guy, this great king, just sort of loses health as time goes on, and he can't really govern anymore. That's when Queen Alicent and Otto Hightower, who is just one evil hand, I might add. I think that Otto Hightower is probably the worst hand that's ever been on Game of Thrones, because he's been plotting against Viserys from day one. He just wants the throne to himself. And the hand is supposed to serve the king. He's supposed to be loyal to the king, but Otto Hightower wasn't loyal. Wasn't loyal at all, and I think that the character is sort of like Littlefinger, in a sense. He just wants the throne, and he will stop at nothing to get it. The first episode of the series really got me hooked on the show. It's got this really intense moment and this really brutal scene where Viserys' wife gives birth, but she's gonna lose this child, and so the doctors, they sort of perform an incision on her to get the child out. Viserys decides to save the child and let his wife die, but both end up dying, and it's just a very heartbreaking moment. It's just an awful scene to watch. It's just everything about what made Game of Thrones great, and I thought that this moment just showed how Viserys is a good man but flawed, like a lot of people are. They're just flawed characters. I also love that we have more dragons here. They're way bigger, and there's a lot of them in this show. In Game of Thrones, they're all extinct, but here we see a lot of them. It's dragons. It's the golden age of dragons, and they look super cool. They're incredibly well designed. I think that they look so great, especially for TV, and it's great seeing so many dragons on screen. It's almost like the series Aragon, but even in Aragon there isn't as many dragons. Here there's a lot of dragons, and I think that they're so well made. I like in the opening episode because it really shows the world and introduces us to the characters. There's like this jousting event here, kind of like in Game of Thrones. We have one here as well. It's violent, it's gruesome, and it's Sir Criston against Sir Daemon. Both go head to head, but Sir Criston is actually the winner. He's the fastest, and Sir Criston, I like his character and I like the actor that plays him. I think that he is an important part of the season overall, and I really enjoy his introduction as well as his character arc throughout this entire season. Alicent Hightower and King Viserys does love this romance, but we know that Alicent Hightower is just using the king. She's not really in love with him. She is there to serve him and to be his wife, but she really doesn't care all that much about Viserys, even though he's a good man, but she's probably just not attracted to him. And Otto Hightower really wants to be in possession of power, so he asks Alicent to get close to Viserys. Rhaenyra feels like she's forgotten, and she often clashes with her father because he wants to find a suitable husband for her, but she doesn't want any husband, so it's kind of hard for her to find the right man. And King Viserys actually demands her to get married because she's being way too difficult, and it's in their best interest for her to get married. They're going to be way more powerful. Even though she doesn't love her husband, she has to get married. I love everything that happens with Daemon this season. I just think that he's a badass. He's a great character. I love when he steals the egg, and Rhaenyra goes to retrieve it to Dragonstone on Dragonback. I think that entire scene is epic, and I love just the confrontation between the two. And this is where both characters sort of develop, I think, this admiration for each other. I think I love seeing them and their relationship grow throughout the course of the season and throughout the course of many years. And I just think that the relationship between Daemon and Rhaenyra was really well done and really well executed. Just the detail here is magnificent. I love this world, and I love being in Westeros. In the past or in the future, I just love it. I love it so much. A lot of people are really upset that Viserys names daughter, the apparent heir to the throne. Of course, that doesn't sit well with many of the citizens or the people in the High Council. They really disagree with him, and they think that a man should be on the Iron Throne. But Viserys doesn't care. He's gonna name Rhaenyra as queen. And Daemon takes Rhaenyra out like in the night, and they go to this brothel together. And Daemon and Rhaenyra sort of make out, and they don't have sex, but like they almost did. But Daemon stopped it. The Otto Hightower is interested in having the throne and having the position of power, so he sends out spies and to follow them. They both Daemon and Rhaenyra, and ever since this night, they are hunted by rumors of incest. Now, the first time jump in the series happens in like episode 3. I think it's like 3 years, and the first time jump isn't really as jarring as the second one, but I did really feel it. Like, oh, there's a really big time jump. Like 3 years is a lot, especially in like one season, and then like the second one is even bigger. So the first time jump, the series happens like episode 3, like I said. 3 years later, Daemon is at war with the pirate Kragas. This entire sequence is really entertaining and exciting, and it really adds to Daemon's character, and I love this entire episode. I think the entire episode 3 is really well done and really exciting. In episode 4, Rhaenyra travels to Storm's End and meets a lot of potential candidates for her husbands. She rejects all of them. She's not interested in any of them, and she makes it really difficult for Viserys and for her family name. And I like that she's trying to be like an independent woman, but at the same time, I think that she needs to be smarter than that. She really needs to find a husband and fast, and like make it like a powerful family. Just stop stalling and stop making things difficult for your father. I also love the character of Leonor, and while I don't think that he loved Rhaenyra, I think that he did the best he could to please his wife. And I love the fact that he goes to see her, and he tells her that he should have done better as a husband, as a father. And he really steps up his game after that. I feel really sorry for Viserys when he is too old to almost get up from bed, and he's completely disfigured from this disease that he has. It's really sad to see him like this. He had been a great king and a great father, and this is how he ends up. There's this whole thing with Rhaenyra's children and Alicent's children that's going on. They bicker back and forth. They really go at each other. They make this terrible prank, and it just gets from bad to worse. Their chicanery is go really intense. One of them, I think it's Aemon. He gets his eye ripped out. It's like a violent fight erupts between Aemon, Baela, Rhaena, Jacaerys, and Lucerys, and the fight ends with Aemon losing his eye. Now, Alicent wants retribution with this. She says that Lucerys should lose his eye as well, but the king won't have it. The king doesn't listen. He says like this matter is settled. But thank God, because Alicent just went completely crazy right now, and I think I really like how Viserys just really didn't want to comply with her. Maybe my favorite scene in the entire season is when he tries to get up on the throne. He climbs up the steps, and he has so much trouble walking, but he does it anyway, and then Daemon goes up to help him. It's just a great scene overall. I just love it to death. I think it was so well directed, and it's almost difficult to watch because this man was so great once. And it's hard seeing him like this. It really is. I absolutely love the scene where Vayman, who is a great character by the way, I thought that he was really good in season one and he was played really well. He just completely loses it in front of the King Viserys because they don't want anything to do with like his family, and he um, accuses Rhaenyra of incest. He's like, "These your children are bastards." He completely loses it, and he speaks out of turn. And so Damon, he slices off his head in half. I mean, this death scene is so great. It's kind of unexpected too, but it's so well done. And I wonder how many Damon and how many people Damon killed this season. It's got to be in the hundreds. Viserys, he makes demands, and he forces the families to sort of reconcile. And while it doesn't really work, they have dinner together. They try to speak to one another, but the children, they bicker back and forth, and it really doesn't work. And Rhaenyra and Daemon, they decide to go back to Dragonstone and leave King's Landing. That very night, um, Viserys actually draws his last breath and dies. And he whispers, I think, his wife's name, his first wife's names, and then he dies. And so, yeah, he dies. Alicent Hightower and Otto Hightower, they start plotting for Aegon to become the king of the Seven Kingdoms, even though he has really no right to the throne. They really kill anyone that oppose to this, and I just love the last like 3 episodes of the season, and they're really suspenseful and they're really well made. And I know that, and of course Aegon is really incompetent, and he's sort of a real adolescent, and he is even responsible for the death of a maid. He's just really a big mess, and I think that that's good maybe for Alicent Hightower because she can sort of control him as king, but he's really just a complete train wreck. So I don't know how she expects the realm to be governed properly with him as king. It almost doesn't make any sense, but I think that she's just gonna use the opportunity to whisper in his ear. It is unclear what prompted this actually, but I feel like Daemon and Rhaenyra paid Quirrell to fake a duel with Leonor in the Hall of Nine in front of a servant. The servant leaves to go and get Curlis, but when they return, Leonor's body is replaced by a dead servant, which is completely burned, so his body is like unrecognizable. And Leonor is able to get away with it, and he leaves. I think that Rhaenyra did that so that he can go live his life in peace, and that he can live without any danger. And I think that was the wisest choice for them. Alicent, so Alicent completely states that the king's last words that he wanted Aegon to be higher to the throne, which is complete lie. It's bullshit. And so the supporters are welcome, and the deniers, those that don't want Aegon on the throne, they are killed on the spot. And so Rhaenys Targaryen, which is like this amazing character, she goes in the dragon pit. She gets her dragon out, and she bursts through the floor where the ceremony takes place, where Aegon is crowned king. And this entire moment is just epic. It's really intense. It's really brutal. And the dragon just pops out of nowhere. Everybody is like terrified. I love this moment. And she just leaps off and goes to Dragonstone to warn Rhaenyra and Daemon, and I love her loyalty. And she tells them everything that happened. She tells them that Viserys has died, and that Alicent has basically betrayed them. And so in the finale, Rhaenyra, she wants to get help from the families that are still loyal to them. So she sends out her sons to go get help, and Lucaris is sent to Storm's End, which is like the Baratheons' like stronghold. He doesn't really have a warm welcome from the guard. The lord there is Aemon, who the kid who lost his eye, and of course he wants revenge for losing his eye years earlier. Lucaris tries to get the Baratheons on their side, but he fails. He's mostly taken as a joke. So he leaves. He gets ready to leave on Dragonback, but he's followed by Aemon, who just wants to scare him. He followed by like this much bigger dragon, and the two race through this like big storm. But of course, an accident happens. The dragon doesn't listen to Aemon, and he completely eats Lucaris. He eats Lucaris and his dragon, and of course, he dies, unfortunately. That's how the season ends. Word is brought back to Dragonstone, and of course, this Rhaenyra and Damon know about their son's demise. And she probably is gonna want retribution. And so yeah, that's how the first season ends. It's a really epic first season of House of the Dragon. I thought it was really fantastic. It's great storytelling and just has amazing characters as well. So I absolutely love this show. Subscribe, please like. See you next time. Bye.